Hello everyone, my name is Shireen. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I restored this Singer 6648 and also made some modifications to it by removing the gears and changing them to all metal gears. There is an entire playlist of videos about this sewing machine restoration project, and I will try to leave a link to it somewhere here on screen. During the process of doing the sewing machine restoration, all day today, I ran this machine through its paces, and I really enjoy the way that it sews, and I think it is a new fan favorite, so I may have to update my favorites list. The only gripe that I have about it is that it is quite loud, and that is what I expected, as I did change out all the gears from nylon to metal. I'm going to run the machine and let you hear how it sounds. See, that's pretty loud there, but it is completely fine with me. And I absolutely love that it has an auto bobbin winder. And I was afraid that the auto bobbin winder would not work on this sewing machine because I thought that it would be very complicated to put the sewing machine back together after taking it apart. And I do have a little clip of me actually winding the bobbin in the machine, so I'll let you take a look at that. The machine is working wonderfully now, but it was not easy to put this machine back together. The first problem that I ran into was with the gear replacement, because I was retrofitting gears from a different machine into this one, and it was kind of like a little Frankenstein project. I have a short clip here of what was going on at that time, and let's go ahead and roll the footage. The other challenge that I've run into so far is that this gear right here that fits here, there's multiple things on it that need to be lined up in order for this to work, and I still haven't gotten it. I'm hopefully going to be able to do this in a few tries, but we'll see. So let's see if I can get you closer. You have this little flat end right here. That is where your screw is supposed to bite. That's where the screw is supposed to bite on this. Then you have this little thing right here, and it has a flat end as well. Let's see if I can show it to you. That has a flat end as well, and that flat end has to be lined up with the hole that's right there. So now that's two parts that need to be lined up. Here's the third part that needs to be lined up. This gear needs to mesh with this one. That's third. And then fourth, you also need to line up the hole of the needle with the hook. So those are four things that need to be lined up in order to get this machine in time. And it's probably going to take me a few hours to do that. And I'm not going to be recording the whole time because I'm literally sitting in a floor doing this, because while I was working on this project at the table, I couldn't get the machine at the appropriate angle and was constantly having to adjust it, and my back was killing me. So the only other place to do this would be in the floor. So that's why I'm not recording. But once I get this together, or if I get it together, please let me get this together after all this long weeks I've been working on it, then I will come back and I will share with you the end results. So that's that. And I'll get back to work, and please do wish me luck on this, because this has been a really hard project. So clearly you see that I was able to work out the gears problem, and now we have a working machine, but that was not the only problem that I ran into. I also had problems with the motor. The first being that I accidentally broke the little nylon screw that goes down at the bottom of my particular sewing machine model's motor. And without that screw, the worm gear slides up and down in the machine, and you don't get proper sewing on the sewing machine. So that little nylon screw is very important. I came up with a number of so-called solutions along the way, but none of them worked. I would like to take I would like for you to take a look at some of the issues that I ran into and my so-called solutions. This worm gear was moving back and forth along the shaft, and we cannot have that. And the reason is because the screw at the bottom was broken. So I tried to replace it with a M4 set screw. But after I did that, I did a little bit of research online and found out that that is not a proper solution. It will actually cause the motor to overheat. But no store that I have found has these sort of nylon screws, and this nylon screw came from the old machine, but there's no washer that I have found, at least at any stores locally, that will fit this size. So I've got to try to figure out some different solution. Hello folks, I have found a nylon screw at Lowe's, which I will leave linked in my blog, and also a washer that sits behind it to hold this shaft right here in place to keep it from sliding down. Before, I was using a nylon zip tie looped in here to keep this from pushing down, but the problem with that is that it wasn't a permanent solution, and after some time, or even needing to open up the motor, then that zip tie would come out and you'd have to redo it all over again. This screw is a better solution because you can just unscrew it if you need to take the motor out and then put it back in. And you just screw it in until you get no more play in this worm gear. Now that the sewing machine is back together, I am totally satisfied with it. And I even would say that I am liking it better right now. This might change over time, but right now I am liking it better than my Kenmore 1941-2. And the reason is because it has the auto bobbin winder function, which allows me to sew and then just refill the bobbin without having to unthread the entire machine. That is very convenient for me. Now, I know that some people complain about that because they say that this bobbin is too small and that you constantly have to wind a new bobbin. But I have had no problems because I am primarily a garment maker and not a quilter. Quilters tend to require more thread for their bobbins, and that is just fine. But if you are a garment maker, then this machine right here is perfectly fine. It works really, really well. And I don't see the bobbin as being that much smaller than what is on my Singer 404. It could just be a matter of personal preference. But if you are one who just needs a jumbo bobbin, then this would not be the machine for you. But if you are fine with like a Singer 66 bobbin and that doesn't bother you, then you will definitely be okay with this. And it helps a lot that you don't have to undo the sewing machine thread every single time that you want to wind a bobbin. It's just there for you. And if it's that much of a problem for you, then you could wind all of your bobbins in the machine before starting a project. I would say that the other thing that I like better about this machine than my Kenmore is that the feet are more readily available, and I have the option to use either the slant shank snap-on presser feet or the standard full-size presser feet. And there's a wide variety of feet available for these Singer models, and they can be used many times across models because I now have two slant shank machines, and it's perfectly fine, and I love the feet that it comes with. That's one of my main gripes about the Kenmore machine, is that it didn't come with enough feet and there's not enough aftermarket ones. But with this machine, that problem is pretty much solved. Now, I haven't really dug into using a lot of the design cams with this because this machine does not have built-in stitches, but that's a-okay with me because I primarily only use a straight and a zigzag anyway. And right now I have the zigzag cam in. I just leave that in my machine, and when I want to use it, I just push it down so that I can do a zigzag stitch. And so far it's worked just fine for me. I know that since I did switch to all metal gears, now I cannot use this buttonhole feature unless I go to PCB Way and get a custom part made. In the future, I may decide to go to PCB Way and get a custom part made. But for right now, I'm A-okay with using the Singer slant shaped buttonholer. I have no problem with using that, and it works out just fine. Now, this right here I painted over because all of the paint had essentially come off of it, and it was paint that was literally in my, let me go back. So in my first video that I made about this machine, you could see that there was writing on here for darn and all those different things. But what I did not tell you was that with the finger on the machine, that was literally rubbing off of the machine. So basically what I did is I just peeled that up and went ahead and painted over it with a almond colored Rust-Oleum paint. And I do have some water slide decals to put a replacement on here for it, but for right now I'm okay with how it is right now. Overall, I say that this is going to be a permanent machine in my collection. I absolutely love this machine, and it may end up being one of my most frequently used ones. And it really did feel like a huge accomplishment when I was able to restore this machine. And I guess that's all I have to say right now, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I thank you so much for watching, and please let me know what your thoughts are about the machine, and if you have any touch and sews or have any experience with that, that would be great. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.